Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Alright, so if you've been watching my channel at all, or if you've been anywhere near Paul's Gary or anything, you would know that the mystery SHTF box, right? Well, the last 2 months, we essentially got the same item in both boxes, right? We got 2 of these shovels, right? Now, I got another one that I got like originally too, so. But I started looking at them because I was like, what? 2 shovels. And I was like, well, so I started looking at them. And the first thing I noticed is these bags are like very different, right? Like this bag here is just like, yeah, it does have like it has like 4 pockets inside. Or 3 pockets. Yeah, it's got 3 pockets inside. But it's just like an open, it's like a little bit wider bag. And then if you look at the other bag, right, it's like closed bag. You've got the 3 pockets, and then you got the big one for the shovel, which, granted, this one does have like the plastic on the inside. And then they both have the same loop strap, and they're both Velcro. But they're like different bags, right? I mean, you can even look at this one here. The outside, you've got like the clear, like the lines. This one's just a square. So I kind of like this one better anyway. But I started looking at other things, right? And one shovel, the end is get it opened up here. So this is one shovel. This is the one that came with this bag. All right, we'll keep those bags separate, right? And then this is the other shovel. It came with the other bag. And you see, I didn't even take the plastic wrap off of this one. I was just like, yeah, whatever. But again, we'll do that so we can get a better look at the shovel, the shovel itself. Now, even the shovels are like shaped differently, right? So this one has more of a rounded edge, and this one has like a very triangular edge. They both have like the saw on the side. Now, granted, this one has a better saw because the teeth, there's 2 rows of teeth, and they're offset. You've got like a weed cutter. You got like a little edge here, like to cut like rope or something. You have to have a bottle opener. If it's survival, you have to have a bottle opener and a compass, right? So, and this one has 2 like slightly different size hex pieces. And then this one over here, they both have a centimeter measure on it. And then they both have like the straight edge on the side. Now this one does not have the bottle opener or the other cutter, but you've essentially got 4 different hex bits. So this one has 2, in my opinion, more useful tools than this one. Yeah, this little cutter's easy, but we'll get back to that. And then the other thing you notice is that the handle itself is much longer on this one, right? We're going to come back to that. So that goes with this bag. This goes with this bag. Now, the rounded shovel also came with a rounded cover, but it goes on the other one too. That's where I had it. Now we're going to get into similarities and differences, okay? So, oh yeah. Get that out of the pocket. So now, and as I said, right, if it's survival, you got to have a compass, right? It doesn't work. Trust me, it doesn't work. So this one came with the rounded end, right? It also came with this. You got a mini ferro rod and a whistle. It works. All right. Then on this side, then with the angled one, you got a compass in there. It doesn't work either, but it's also not really like a factor because the end has this orange knob, which actually makes it easier to find. This one also comes with a ferro rod and a whistle. I like this whistle better. I'm barely blowing in it. This one here, you see? So, has a better whistle. It screws in here. However, this one will also screw in here. They are interchangeable. Now, so we got that. And then this whistle also has a lanyard hole right here. So you can like tie something to that so you don't lose it. We'll come back to that. All right, so that's where that sits up. Now then, let's see here. Come back to that. Empty tube, empty tube. Empty tubes, all right, they connect. They each came with one of those. Now then, they both came with, now if you look at it, this one is a little bit smaller on the outside. This one is a larger twist, right? But, and this one fits in, this one's very loose. This one actually has a little bit better suction in it too, right? This one, but, you know, you can like do that. You got, shit. All right. So now this one came with the rounded. This one, and I got it screwed in there, and it's in there really tight. So, but you do have the smaller piece in there. So, but that screws in there like that. So that one came with the angled edge one, right? And then 2 additional tubes. So each came with, well, this one here came with 3 tubes. This one only came with 2 because it has this one that's built in, and it does not come out. So we're gonna come back to that too. Now then, the one with the triangular tip came with this knife, which also has your obligatory bottle opener, right? It's too wide to be a can opener, so it's another bottle opener because in a survival situation you got to pop that beer, right? But it does have a knife, not the sharpest knife, but if you remember, the rounded one had the cutter on it. This one has an actual knife, okay? And it even came with a sheath, which has a belt clip. So you can have your knife so you can do what you need to do. Alright, so the other one came with this. It has a knife, really dull. Well, it's not that bad. But, and then it has a little saw right here. Right? You have your, and this one is, the teeth are offset. There's 2 rows. But it also has this like fork on the top, right? So you can actually use that to stab fish or squirrel or a bird, a pigeon or something. You can use that as a spear tip. So I started thinking about this, right? I'm like, okay, so they sent me the same item, November, December, got the same item. And then it dawned on me, I can make this work, right? So we're gonna start with, I like the old shovel better. I do like this more aggressive tip, but it also has, you know, 4 hexes instead as opposed to just 2, so that's pretty useful. But it has this longer end here, which does not come out. I promise you, it does not come out, right? So now then, if we were to use just this one here, right? This is the length that we're getting, right? All right. Now that's pretty useful for a shovel. You know, you've got some leverage. You know, you've got some pretty good leverage, right? You've got 3 pieces, right? And you got 2 that actually come off, right? So take this part off. I'm going to show you what I'm doing here, right? So in this one, remember, this has the ferro rod and the whistle in it. We're going to set that aside. Then we're going to unscrew this one here. All right, empty tube. Now remember, this empty tube does not come off, right? That's the shovel itself, right? So we're going to set that aside. Oh, And we have this knife, which also All right, so this one here, this is the one that came with this shovel, right? So because you see, it's designed that you can like screw this in, okay? But if you just have this tube and this tube and your handle, I don't want all the way. You get the idea, right? So that's like the extent of your spear, right? Very short, you know. You might be able to get close up to a fish to spear a fish with that. Self-defense, yeah, you do have that extra length. So, you know, if there's like a coyote or a wolf or something, you know, you can keep them at bay. Homeless guy, whatever. So, but, well, actually, no, you'd only have, it'd only be this long. It would only be this long, right? Because that's right, this one came with 3. So actually, you'd be looking at this. Whew. Got to keep my mind straight, right? So this is what you're looking at, right? Now, yeah, you might be able to get a fish with that, but it's pretty short, kind of rough. They're going to swim away. And as far as defense goes, you know, you don't have that much more room. So, but I really started thinking about this, and I'm like, okay, so since these are almost the same item, they have the interchangeable pieces. Get a knife out of there. So this one has 3 tubes. This one only has 2, right? So we have our shovel. All right. We put our shovel in like that, right? Now then, number 2. And you'll see why this is where I came up with this later. Number 3. So right now we've got, so now basically this is as long as this shovel was, a little bit longer, right? But now we have a shovel that's this tall. So that way you can really get that leverage to get stuff dug up. Okay? Now, however, if you take this one off, and you add this one, and remember before they were essentially the same by themselves. They're about the same height, right? They're about the same height by themselves, right? Because there's 3 tubes, and this just has a little bit. But then I look at this one, you got a couple extra inches, and so you can really, you know, if you got to dig, this is really going to help you out. Now, granted, the spade head is not that large, so you're only going to be moving so much dirt at a time. But, and this is where it gets real good, right? Because lock that in. You take off this one here, right? Which, granted, this one, that's your basic shovel, right? But now with this one, you have an extra two tubes length. So if you are fishing, there might be a frog, a pigeon, you know, whatever, but you have that extra added length to stab with. Now, here's even the better part, right? Because now it's like, okay, right? So now your spearhead's in there, your knife's on your side. Wrong one. Oh, wait. Yeah, that's the only thing that's not interchangeable is the knife and the screwdriver. You got to put those in the correct one. But that one has inner teeth. So now, when you're getting ready to pack out, let's say that this is what you have for protection as well. Well, now you have everything in there. And so it makes it easier to like, if you're going to carry this for, I don't know, whatever reason. You know? Now this side here is not very sharp. You can put an edge on that, make it dangerous. This side is pretty good though, the serrated edge. And we're going to call that a serrated edge. It's not really a saw, but with this spearhead in here, we have a saw as well. So, now, we got this. I'll be honest, this is going to stay with the other shovel because these compasses don't work for crap. Now you could put this around your neck. It does have like a lanyard hole, and that's the only reason why this one might be a little bit better on the end than this one, is because it actually has like you could put a lanyard hole in there. Ooh. Screwdriver just fell out. But now this I'm definitely keeping because it's an extra ferro rod, right? And then of course you got your knife. Now your knife you can put in your waistband, so you have like a knife. You're good to go. All right, that's what I figured out with this, getting two items, back-to-back items. This is actually a pretty good way to make use of both items in a sensible manner, because now you have a much larger tool to work with. And when you go through the breakdown part of it, that has a screwdriver bits in here. Nope. So you don't need both screwdriver bits. You really don't. But you know, why not, right? So we're gonna tear this all down. Alright, that's the one that's mounted in there. This one is hard in there. So this one should actually twist out. Yeah, there we go. And it twists on in. Surprised that's the one that came loose. But anyway, there we go. So, and now then, put our second bit in there. So, first up, again, as I said, we're going to Frankenstein this thing. So, like so. Unlock it. Oh, and right here, you've got a picture. This one is a locked, and this is an open lock. So you know which way to turn it to. And I think it's backwards, but it's whatever. All right, so, and as I said, I like this bag better anyway because this slides in a lot easier. Just slide it right in there. Right now, and you could go with either handle. It doesn't matter. They're the same size. You know, if you want to have put a lanyard around it, then you're more than welcome to. So then, as you can see, I'm just sliding tubes in. Right? Okay. Then on the webbing pocket on the side, I'm gonna tie it off, but I'll probably put a lanyard from here to the ferro rod. But as you can see now, you got a little satchel carry. Now you lengthen this out, of course, and now how good is this strap? I don't know. You might want to keep the other strap just in case, but you can carry it just like it's a haversack, really. So you got right there. And the only thing we left out is, and you can take it or leave it. I don't know if a lanyard is really that important, but you know, you can keep this compass, this handle, and you put a lanyard on there. Might make it a little bit better. But the only thing, so essentially, really, the only thing that, you know, we don't have is this one shovel head. So we were able to, hey, that's enough. So we're pretty much able to, this is the only thing that we're not using out of both sets. Now, I don't know about you, but hold on a second. Stop. I don't know about you, but personally, if they're going to send me 2 items back to back, identical, at least I'm glad it was this that I can actually. This shovel, let's see what that one. That's not interchangeable, but it's whatever. So I'm glad that it was this, because this is at least something I can use almost all the components of and make a pretty decent survival shovel. How good is it? I don't know. We're gonna find out. I don't know. We're gonna use it. I gotta dig some stuff up in the front yard anyway. I gotta put some trees in. So we're gonna use this shovel to do the garden, and we're gonna see how well it holds up to a little bit of scrutiny, and then we're gonna take it a little bit harder and see what else it can handle. Anyway, until next time, keep prepping. Hey, if you've already gotten this far, please subscribe. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up, leave me a comment. Until next time, again, as I said, keep prepping.